How's it going? Good. Questions?
I think Diamador Leroy, how would you just evaluate his game so far?
I think it's been solid. I think that he, being able to go inside, outside, I think he's taken that next step, just another year of just being comfortable and being able to see it. And, like I've said in the past, it's tough to do that within a game, to play inside and outside. Like, okay, base, now you're outside, nickel, go play the nickel. And I think it's just clicking that much faster. It's like anything time on task, he just continues to get better in both spots because he's playing both spots. So that part's good.
For him, was it something like, just kind of getting past the point where he felt like he was thinking through things too much and now he's just more reacting? Is it that kind of
That's it. I mean, that's really it. That's really anybody. How fast can you get away from the thinking about everything to where you're anticipating and just reacting? That's really the main goal with anyone. And usually you see with the young guys or rookies, when they start to flash early, it's because they grasped it quickly, and then it starts to click. And that's really the goal. How quickly can it, be second nature and be reactive?
Jalen Graham got some reps with the starters there at the end. What are you seeing from those two linebackers in particular?
Same thing. They're just, getting better because it's starting to click for them. And, I talk about, speed, violence, and finish. To me, a lot of speed is, you run fast, but speed is also your preparation and your knowledge of the game, because you hear veteran guys say it all the time, oh, the game slowed down for me. It slowed down. Well, you look so much faster because it did slow down, because now you're more comfortable and you're understanding. Now you anticipate, based on motions and alignments, and the stuff happens as you think it should happen, and now you can go make plays. And that's what you're seeing. D almost had a pick today, in that backed up period, because, again, the game's slowing down and he's playing faster. Same with Jalen.
Between D and Devondre and Jalen, how do you go about determining which of the two will be out there when you're in the nickel?
Well, Devondre he's out there with Fred. So it's just a good group of linebackers. I think a lot of those guys, even Zeke Turner, who's new, he's come in, he's fit in. Curtis Robinson has had a nice camp, and Flam, when he's, back healthy, the times he's been in, he's always been a staple for us that can play all three positions. And even Tatum Bethune, one of our late round picks, he's done a nice job. He's starting to grasp it well. I think you see that with a lot of the guys that we brought in, period. They're our type of guys, and they care, and it makes sense to them, and they're starting to, we've got this great competitive group on defense on all levels, and that's the part that's exciting.
Seems like Jair Brown's going above and beyond when it comes to communicating. What have you seen from him and jumping from year one to year two, and just as far as intangibles, not so much on the field?
Yeah, again, the comfort and the confidence. I think he can anticipate things. He's starting to do more communicating out there, and again, that's what's you're gonna find out. Without Huff out there, what are Gio and Tig gonna do? And those guys stepped up. They elevated their game. Huff is a great communicator. Gip as well, who's not here, right? So those guys get this opportunity and they get all these extra reps, and now they're stepping in and doing a really nice job. And it's through all those extra reps that you're seeing that improvement.
How many different ways can you use Yetur Gross-Matos? I feel like I've seen him rush inside, outside, drop.
Yeah, I mean, he can, mix it up. Like I said, he's an interior pass rusher as well. Like he gets after it, and it's exciting to have him because he's very multiple.
What do you think of Beal so far? Really talented guy, but from where he was last year to now.
It's starting again. The same thing. It's another year of being able to get on his lines and be explosive and think less. If he's a really explosive and fast guy, like he can really run, and if he can just stay on that track and continue to get better, he's going to be a good player.
Back on your linebackers real quick, you talk about like the versatility you want, especially in backup guys. How do you kind of thread the needle when you got a guy like Graham, for example, where you want him to get comfortable at Mike, but also maybe you're going to need him at Sam? Like, how do you just kind of work through that in terms of getting reps at different spots?
Based on the player and what we know about him, and as you get to know him, what you think is their best spot. That's something that Johnny Holland is always kind of, and everybody really, when we evaluate guys, what you think they could play. But when you're young and a backup, okay, what are the two spots I can play? So there is some value as you get older if you can play multiple spots. Just like I say about Demo, guys that play nickel and corner, or people that have played nickel and safety, if you have that versatility, it's good. Same with linebacker. I mean, it's different. Oh, am I making the calls, as the Mike, and you're in a different spot and you could have some different responsibilities, or am I the will of the Sam, where I could be more outside? And with Jalen, he had never really been in the box in college. He was a high school quarterback too. He's a good athlete. He's smart. So we're like, okay, let's see how he is at Mike. And he's handled it well. But you still need to have the versatility like you see with, Curtis Robinson, who's been here a while, and Flan. And, the more they get, the more they add to their value.
Harder when you have a guy who you're using more at Mike to get them reps at other places just because there's so much more on their plate when they're making.
No, I mean, you can still get multiple spots. I think you started early, kind of like what we did with Renardo, with nickel. We made sure we got him both spots. You don't want to necessarily just totally shock somebody later with something that's harder, but you can, you trickle it in as you see it based on the player and what you think they can handle. And so it's never the same for everybody. Everybody's different.
The third down defense wasn't great last season. What would you say the key is to improving that aspect of the defense this year?
Well, I think there's a few things. It's a lot of times it's just execution and, harping on the details and being really, really detail oriented with how we rush, how we cover, and just those two things tied together. It's always so much of these things are so close and so minuscule that if we just continue to stay consistent with how tight can we be with our details, that extra half a step is, a win or a loss on that play.
You guys are deep at defensive tackle, it seems. What do you and Chris think so far of Evan Anderson, and what does he need to work on to make this team?
I think he's done a nice job. With him, again, it's the guys learning the attack and being on their line, getting your footwork right. With him, it's, being consistent in your steps and your footwork. He has the power. He's an athletic guy for a big guy. But it's just, how consistent can he be? And our offense gives us, good looks. They give us a lot of looks. You get a lot of movement. It's, good players with, explosive O-line. So he's getting a lot of work. He's gotten better.
Is there a process with deciding if Yomdor Lenore is best always outside or best being outside and rotating to nickel? Is there any, process behind that? Or is he pretty much just the best nickel guy, so he's always going to move inside?
Well, we've been kind of rotating. We kind of mix things up, and you always want to try and change things up and see what guys can handle at different times, and that's pretty much what we've been doing. A lot of positions.
We're going to see you before the next weekend. Have Coach Shanahan and yourself, have you guys decided, will any of the starters see the field in the first preseason game?
I'm sure Kyle will handle that, and we'll talk through it.
Eager to get out to call plays for the first time, even preseason game?
I am. I'm excited because it's fun when you get to some of these. We started getting into the move the ball periods where it's not scripted, and it makes it just more fun, and it's also with your process of, your coaching staff and who's giving you personnel and how we hand that off and how we communicate to the players and, being in a rhythm. There's been some different situations to where you can call different calls, but those true move the ball, that's where it feels the most like football,
This might be a bit of a random question because I know you don't work closely with him, but Bobby Turner is somewhat of a legendary figure.
Yes.
He's known as extremely meticulous, among other things. I
Yes.
guess, how would you describe what you know of him and just his coaching style and why he has built a reputation?
You're right. Pretty much what you've said. Meticulous, on it, passionate, very serious. But he, in talking with him, I think at one of the away game dinners or something, he was a really good athlete, multi-sport athlete too. So he's he'll talk about that too. But as far as his football and getting the players right, that's his number one. He's going to take care of that. And he's a heck of a coach, and he's very, very detailed and very serious about it. And that's why you see so much production, and that's why he's coached for so long. A lot of respect for him.
Is he ever not serious?
No, he'll joke around here and there. I've seen him joke around here and there. Yeah. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.